Good afternoon, listeners. 125th Street and Beyond is a show about the work we are doing at the 125th Street bid here in Harlem. It's also a show about the relationships we are building with the city, agencies, bids around the world, and our neighbors here in Harlem. Welcome to 125th Street and Beyond. You are listening to WFMC 90.3. We will give you updates about what's happening and addressing issues that affect the impact 125th Street District. So what's new on 125th Street? Today, we take a deeper look into what's happening with retail in our street. A month ago, several news publications described 125th Street as empty storefronts becoming a part of the landscape of 125th Street. Since those new stores, the retail scene has been changing. Recent announcements include Sephora, Pandora, Target, and Trader Joe's. Others are coming. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Anthony White, who is the Northeast Director of Asset Protections for Victoria's Secret Stores. Victoria's Secrets is the world's largest specialty retailer of modern fashion-inspired intimates, lingerie, casual sleepwear, athleisure, and award-winning prestige fragrances and body care. Anthony is responsible for 120 stores, including 13 stores in New York City. We have been working with Anthony on a number of initiatives that we will describe more later in the show. The bid reached out to Anthony immediately, or I'm not really sure. Anthony may have reached out to us during the post-COVID period to see how we could work closer together to address the conditions on the street that were having a major impact on business operations. Anthony has been a great supporter and instrumental in connecting the bid with asset managers from other corporations located in the bid boundaries. Anthony, welcome to 125th Street and Beyond.
Barbara, thank you for having me. I am so excited to spend some time with you this morning.
And you know, you're one that I enjoy receiving your conversations all the time. And thanks to COVID, can anyone give any thanks to COVID? But it brought us closer together. So let's begin by you telling us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What led you to do this type of work? And how did you end up in your current position at Victoria's Secrets?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Love the opportunity to share a little bit about my background. I'm originally from Jamaica, and I always laugh and say not Jamaica, Queens, but actually Jamaica, the island. I grew up in Queens, New York. That's where I spent most of that's where I grew up most of my life. My family and I, we now reside in Long Island. Right after completing my bachelor's down in Virginia at Virginia Union University, I started a career in retail. I've worked for Target for 15 years. I've worked for Sears, and now I currently am with Victoria's Secret. I was recently promoted to the director role, covering the Northeast, 120 stores, as you mentioned earlier, and super excited about getting a chance to work with you, the Harlem bid, and support the stores in Harlem, our store in Harlem, and in and about the Manhattan area.
So I'm going to just stick on this subject a little bit about your career path, because many times people see people working in the stores as sales clerks or whatever, and it's not always clear, at least not to me, and maybe some of the other average people, the career path for how people working in retail can start at the bottom and move up to positions like you have. Many people don't even know that positions like you have exist in the retail world. And so it's almost like a closed kind of industry thing unless you're in the industry. So can you just shed a little light about the opportunities so that our listeners who may have an interest in retail can understand this is something they may or may not want to pursue?
Yeah, no, retail has been absolutely amazing for me. I think, from the early days, it truly goes back to your personal drive and your personal focus on your own development. And that's the advice I always give to individuals as, who I mentor, or individuals that ask me the question about how do I grow my career. It always goes back to hard work, a focus on continue to grow yourself and your personal development. But the opportunities are there. Just like other industries, I always believe the opportunities there. You just have to find what you want to aspire toward and work aggressively toward that goal. Connect yourself with the right partners and continue on that path until you get there, and believe in yourself. That's, to me, that's the foundation of everything. You have to truly have that belief, and I'm confident you'll get there.
Great. I mean, those are great and inspiring words, and I hope some of the young people listening can follow some of your advice. Now, this is a big title, Northeast Director of Assets Protection. So even for myself, I didn't understand what asset protection was until we were having the problems on the street. We kept trying to work with the local store manager. And then the store manager would send our reply somewhere. We didn't know where it went up through the corporate structure. And so working with you, I'm learning that almost every corporation have an asset protection program. Can you tell us a little bit, first, just what the asset protection is all about, and and how it ties in at the local level?
No, great question, and thanks for asking. For Victoria's Secret Assets Protections, really focused on protecting our people, product, and property. Now, that's at a high level. That's a key. That's our most important mission and our focus. How it relates to the stores is truly providing support for each individual store to ensure that they have the safety focus they need. We're doing all the right things to protect our property and to help those stores to be profitable. But our number one focus, Barbara, is the safety of our associates and every customer that comes into our stores. But locally, we have leaders that support individual stores, lead up to a districts, and then regional leaders to ensure that we're following that mission of protecting people, product, and property.
So did you have to have security training to move into this position, or, is that a requirement?
That's always a benefit, but you don't need it. My undergraduate degree is in business administration and with a focus on marketing. So very different from the security field. So it's not something that's required. And quite honestly, so many of our leaders in assets protection come with a variety of different backgrounds. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it is beneficial if you have some of that experience, yes.
Gotcha. So now when people in Harlem heard that Victoria's Secrets was coming to Harlem, no one believed it. And they kept saying, you mean I don't have to go downtown to go to Victoria's Secret anymore? So tell us a little bit about the Victoria's Secret brand and the customer, and particularly the Harlem customer. I'm sure you have found some differences in the Harlem customer versus the customers in Midtown.
What makes the Harlem customer, the Harlem store so special to us is the location and the community, without a doubt. You think about, being so close to iconic locations like the Apollo Theater, being so close to, restaurants that's so well known, like Sylvia's, Red Roosters in Harlem, those locations. And then just the wealth of culture that is in that community, in that neighborhood. That is what makes our Harlem store stand out and that customer stand out. So, we opened our store back in 2016, and we're absolutely just appreciative of being able to become part of that community and connect with the community through the Harlem 28th precinct, the NYPD precinct, and through organizations like the Harlem Bid. That's just been instrumental in connecting with different agencies. But overall, we feel like part of the neighborhood now. We're part of the family, and it's such a great community to be a part of.
So you spoke a little bit, Anthony, about the location. So where you are right now, you located close to the Whole Food area. That location is a major transportation hub. We have pedestrian counters on that corner, and I don't have the numbers readily accessible here during this interview, but we do average about 450 to 500,000 people a week on 125th Street. And most of the people, we have like about 600,000 people in walking distance. So it is a great location. And now I'm not sure if you heard, but I met with them yesterday that Raising Cane is moving next door to you. So we definitely want to make them good neighbors. It's a different market, but it definitely will attract people and probably be a boost to your business as well. So the location part here also brings not just customers, it also brings a lot of the people who present challenges for us on the street. And certainly you have had your share of challenges. So maybe you should talk to us first before we go right into the challenges, what it was like when you came 6 years ago versus where we are now.
Yeah, thank you for that. I give a lot of credit to your organization and our partnership with the 28th precinct, NYPD 28th precinct, because 6 years ago, it did look different. And, I give a lot of credit to our partnership with the Harlem bid, the precinct commander, the 28th precinct, truly was instrumental in ensuring that we've seen the change in quality of life in Harlem, the police presence in Harlem. So, vast difference from where we were to where we're at now. And I feel really excited about the future. But what was different, I feel, is truly the presence of our NYPD officials and officers in and about key locations. And you mentioned Whole Food right on 125th, Adam Clayton Powell, Nichols. Those locations, I think, have made a huge difference in just the presence that drives safety and reduces the opportunity for crime in those areas.
Yeah, and mentioning the relationship with the bid, and for us ourselves, relationship building used to be something that was I like to say a nice to do, or sometimes maybe a should do. And relationship building now is a must do. It's no longer the world of the store owner can call the bid or call the NYPD and say this is happening and someone is going to come out and address it. The whole world has just turned upside down, and the collective, approach of everybody working together is how we are surviving on 125th Street. And I bring that to the forefront because you've been a leader in that. There's been certain stores who saw that need for this relationship building, and you took the ball and run with it. And so again, what went off in your mind to make that quick change? Because when you first came, we didn't have that quick, the type of working relationship that we have today as we had in the beginning.
Yeah, it came down to a few things. I believe everywhere I went to, I kept hearing your name. And I'm a problem solver by nature. So if we had a problem and I realized the solution kept going back to the leaders of the 28th precinct. And when I spoke to them, they kept saying, have you spoken to Barbara? It kept bringing me back to the Harlem bid. And that's what really sparked it. Say, hey, I need to insert myself in this organization and build that relationship to see how we can support the community, but also gain that connection that can support our organization as well. So that's where it really started.
And that eventually led us into the biggest challenge on the inside of the store, because we had challenges outside on the sidewalk and we had challenges inside the store. And outside was so overwhelming, we couldn't really take a good look at what was happening inside. But once we took a look at what was happening inside, it was also overwhelming. The shoplifting at Victoria's Secrets, you guys were the #1 target. There were more incidents in your store than any of the others. I mean, Whole Food was getting hit a lot, as well as Marshall's, the Gap, many of the stores, and even the smaller stores, like the small hardware. But Victoria's Secret, the numbers were literally, as people say, off the chain. So First, we want to thank you for staying, because many of the businesses that went through that level of challenge decided to pick up and leave, and you stuck through. So the 125th Street bid, thank you for that, because there are still many customers who really appreciate Victoria's Secrets. But just getting to how to manage that, and the first thing we did was to put you on Alvin Bragg's, DA's Alvin Bragg Small Business Alliance. So let's talk about your role there, because then you became an integral part of working with dealing with shoplifting issues at that level. So it's going from the local, now it's going into the DA's office.
Yeah, no, and I first just want to thank you for that opportunity. It was a great platform, a great community to come together with the district attorney's office and other stakeholders to truly come up with common sense, comprehensive actions and plans to address some of the crime that's plaguing different communities in Manhattan. So first and foremost, thank you. And that's really was the goal and purpose of the DA's group. Some of the key benefits I do want to share that was just a huge takeaway for us was just a direct connection to partners at the district attorney's office. That direct line of connection was huge. And as I mentioned before, also being able to work with key stakeholders to come up with comprehensive actions to address the crime that were plaguing certain areas that impacted our stores as well. So it was great to be a part of that group, and I felt like we made a significant difference, and I think there's more to still come, but it was definitely a huge win to be a part of that, so thank you.
Yes, and also too, so let's just talk about just how this works. So number one, at the local level, you're working with the bid. You're working with the bid in two capacities, by having direct access to myself, and we brainstorm and look at these projects all the time, but also the interagency work, where we bring all the agencies together, which is where you also got direct impact to the chief of staff, Jordan Stockdale, who also lives here in Harlem, where you can then bring information to them on an ongoing regular basis, which is what we found has been effective. Not a meeting every other month, or I'll talk to you next time, I have a problem. This ongoing work, and you have been very active in that. So let's talk about the value of being able to, interact with key people, the people who are responsible for getting the work done, on a regular basis. What was that benefit to your business? Because it's not just the DA's office, it's the police, it's the special prosecutor, it's sanitation, it's so many different people that you have access to through this interagency work.
Yeah, I think the key word for me is access, to be able to be in the room to truly hear what are the next steps to address issues that are problematic in the community, and to be at the table to be a part of the solution, and also to get a chance to speak directly with the key government officials and different agency officials, and hear from them directly with what are the next steps. And what I appreciate about you, Barbara, and your leadership is it's very direct, very focused, laser-like focus, I call it, but also that you hold everyone accountable to a timeline linked to an action. And I think that's been beneficial to really see progress and growth as I attend each of the meetings. So I appreciate that, and thank you for that, because we continue to see progress if it's issues with lighting in Harlem, or if it's issues with sanitation and pickups, or if it's issues with just mental health concerns and how we can support the community. At each meeting, we walk away with who owns what, what's the timeline, and what's the action. And then by the next meeting, you do a really nice job of making sure you hold us accountable, or all the parties accountable, to have we made progress, and if not, what's the roadblock. So the key word for me is access, and being in the room to be able to support the process. And as a leader for Victoria's Secret, how I support Victoria's Secret in the community is in that capacity, just being there to support and make sure our voice is heard in regards to that our Harlem location.
Fantastic. You just I'm going to take everything you said and put on my resume. It sounded really, really great. Here, just finished talking about interagency work and working with agencies. And as everyone know, we can't police our way out of some of these situations, and some of them the police shouldn't even be involved in. We also cannot ignore the fact that technology is going to be the wave of the future, even more so in managing stores as well as in protection on the street. So with that, we're working on a program with Deputy Mayor Banks and through a retail theft task force. And through that retail theft task force, we're looking at best practices from all over the city, actually working with the DAs from all 5 boroughs and working with large corporations, Chamber of Commerce's, small bodegas. And there was one program that we were particularly interested in on 125th Street called FUSES. What FUSES does is it allows business owners to share their cameras with a network with the NYPD to give a view of what's going on in the store. And the goal is to create a network where all of the businesses are using it so we can see what's happening on the street. And Victoria's Secrets likes the concept. And I know you can't talk too much about it because it's something in progress, but around the whole concept, Anthony, can you shed light on why you think security technology used in a protective privacy mindset could be something that's good for your store?
We are very supportive of the FUSES program for everything you shared, and the fact that from a technology standpoint, we would be able to support the NYPD in a quick turnaround, hopefully, with any active investigations that's linked to our block or our store, in front of our store in that area specifically. When we looked at the program, the first thing that stood out to us is the fact that we would be able to support NYPD with these investigations. And it's truly small, if not any true investment on our part. And it's just really leveraging technology the right way. So it's a win-win for Victoria's Secret to be able to support NYPD in this way because of all that they continue to do on a daily basis to support our stores.
So let's talk about give back. You were saying like supporting the community.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have coming up for the holidays? The holidays are here. What is it? Is there anything special our listeners would like to be able to hear about Victoria's Secret's holiday promotions?
We have an exciting assortment of promotions in our stores, and not just the Harlem store, but all of our stores. And I invite all our listeners to take an opportunity to visit our stores in Harlem, our flagship stores in Fifth Avenue. It's if you haven't been there, I encourage everyone to take a visit to the Fifth Avenue store. And probably not too far from Harlem on the 6th train, we have our Upper East Side store in Manhattan as well. So it's just some amazing promotions that will, I know brings my wife in the store way too much, but listen, it's the holidays and she deserves it.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things I am appreciative of, and I want to thank you, Barbara, and our Harlem store was very happy to participate in this, was the Harlem Holiday Lights program. We were able to give back a variety of different gift bags to support the holiday lights and the parade that occurred very recently, and to give back to the community that way was just heartfelt because of how entrenched we are in the community and how we want to continue that relationship. So the Harlem Lights Christmas event, I know it carries through all the way through March, and we look forward to continue to support it. So thank you for that opportunity, and from everyone in Victoria's Secret, just a heartfelt appreciation for you, for the work that you are doing with the Harlem Bid to give back to the community. And I think that's a great example of it.
So let's talk about some of your goals. have you realized your goals for opening up this store in Harlem? I remember when the Magic Johnson Theater came to Harlem and the numbers seemed to be low. And I asked them, I said, are you guys doing okay? And they said, we're above our projection, So, each store make their own goals. So I'm curious about that in terms of your goals that you had for when you came to Harlem, and are you realizing them? Are you exceeding your goals?
Good question, and thanks for asking that question. When I think about goals, when we opened the store in 2016, I am just happy to share one of our primary goals was to really become part of the community first and foremost. And I think if I had to check that off, I said, check, we've done a really nice job there. In addition to that goal was from a business standpoint to ensure that we present a beautiful store that the community is going to love. And if I think about that customer, she's going to continue to come back to our store and love the experience that she has in our store. I'm going to check off, yes, we've done that. From a business standpoint, I feel excited about the fourth quarter that we're in. And I know traffic has been great in our Harlem store, and I feel very optimistic for that location that we're going to continue to see great business out of there. But there's a few things that stand out to me. Our partnership with the community. Number one, are we presenting a beautiful store for that community? Yes. And our business has benefited from it. And I feel really optimistic about the holidays.
So where you're located, there are a number of new businesses. In fact, 125th Street, there are many businesses that are opening up soon. I would say in the next 6 to 10 months, in the next 18 months, we will look like a totally different place here. But many of them are in that block where you're located, across the street from you. We will be getting the Sephora and Pandora and Target and Trader Joe's. In fact, in our mind, we're thinking about, okay, how we're going to manage all of this foot traffic. It will be an explosion, and certainly people will be coming to take a look at Victoria's Secrets. Have you guys started preparing for an uptick in customers as a result of all these new announcements?
Well, we're excited about the foot traffic. We'll take all the traffic that is coming to the community. So we love that because we know that will have a positive impact on the business. As the community and the environment changes, we constantly reassess at the local level. But at this point, we're really just evaluating what the trend will look like, and then we'll make changes as needed. But we're excited about the traffic. We're excited.
Yes, and you also know there will be a museum. So I think this also, when you say into the community, and one of the things we've talked about is trying to create this network where businesses come together. I think this is the perfect opportunity of how not only does the businesses come together, but then also how we expand that out into connecting with other groups and organizations in the community, particularly around youth. Our theme this year for holiday lighting was celebrating the youth, and I am particularly keen on interested in a way for information to float to the young people about opportunities, and at an early level, because a lot of times what happens is, oh, this store opened up, can we get a job? How do we go? Where do we go? And everything has been fulfilled already. And so working with you, I'm going to be leaning on you more on how do we make deeper connections into the community, not with the organizations that everyone already know about, but there are many good groups that are doing great work in the community. And I can say as a fact that, the bid does not have great connections there. And it's an area we would like to grow in, to help businesses also connect with them. Any thoughts on that? I'm pushing you now because I'm training you for the upcoming tasks that I'm going to be asking you for.
No, I'm excited about the opportunity to continue to look at different organizations that we can connect directly with, that can support, that's a part of the community, that can support when we think about quality of life, when we can think about just reducing crime in the community and just growth in the community. So I look forward to that opportunity for those organizations and to connect with them as well.
And I'm glad you brought up quality of life, because this is where we are now, the quality of life on 125th Street. And I mean 24/7. When you look at our pedestrian footfall counts, people are on 125th Street all night long, but our businesses are closed. There's nothing, nowhere for people to go. So exploring, after 8 o'clock, what are the opportunities for 125th Street? But then that brings right into the forefront what you said, the quality of life. Our lighting is too dark.
Mm-hmm.
The garbage on the street at night. We have so many challenges around that. And for a business owner, what type of climate do you see would be needed in order for you to look at expanding hours of operations, particularly around quality of life?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and thanks for posing that. That's truly something we would have to evaluate for this location, and then partners in our home office would really have to look at all the different variables that kind of play into that decision and make that decision. So I'd love to say that's something that I would deal with, but I would have to defer that to other partners at home office that would look at the data, look at the impact on the business. Safety for our associates are so important, so that would be paramount as well, and they would make the right decision for the store.
And you're correct, and it's all those things are what you just said are apropos. And at the same time, we just opened up our first hotel. We just opened up our first hotel, and for the last week, I've been out there early in the morning, 7 o'clock, observing what's going on. I've been out there late at night after 11 o'clock, observing what's going on. And that hotel is a game changer. People are coming in from out of the community on a regular basis every day. I spoke to the manager, and the hotel is 80% full from day one. And so we have this whole new market that, we were thinking it was coming. Well, it's here. So now we have to engage and figure out again how we're going to do this. Otherwise, you have this market, they come out, they're looking for somewhere to go. They can get on the A train and go downtown in one stop. So we have another opportunity, and I'm posing this to you first. We haven't even talked about it, at our board level. It's just from observations and something to think about. Sometimes game changes force you to rethink your operations. And I'm saying to you right now that day has come. Want to hear your response to it, but there are customers walking around with all the stores closed trying to figure out what to do because they just got into town. I know when I go into town, a new town, I drop my suitcases and want to go out and see what's out there, what's around, and that we've moved into that space. It's a great opportunity, but now retailers, the bid, all of us, what do we do now? What's your immediate reaction to that?
I think we have to evaluate what does the traffic flow after closing look like, and then really take a comprehensive approach to make sure we make the right decision for the store safety and then the community. So that's the approach I would take.
And believe it or not, you gave me a first step that I can immediately provide to you because of our pedestrian footfall counts cameras, and we have 4 of them on that corner where you are. I need you to text me your closing hours, and I will send you all of the numbers on a regular basis of what's happening so we can track and see how this compares to, the new traffic coming in with the hotel. This is perfect for me to be able to find a starting point through radio interview. And lastly, what I would like to bring up is the fact of the arts and the culture in Harlem and infusing the arts and culture into your business operation. You can tell almost every store you go into on 125th Street is playing music, which is why we are interested in putting music into that interactive tree in front of your store, Victoria's Secrets, and we want you to work with that. But I think that's what makes us stand out from other areas, is because business people have art from local artists in the stores, people creating Harlem special sections. Our biggest attraction is people want to have that Harlem feeling, and for the businesses to incorporate that. So I know you have your brand, but how difficult is it to kind of nudge the brand to incorporate local flavor?
I think a really good question. That's one of those points that I would definitely defer to our home office partners that deal specifically with the visual elements in the stores. And here's what I will say. Nothing is impossible. We do have a brand, our brand focus that we love each store to reflect. But it's something I could definitely take away and share that idea, and we could definitely circle back to you on.
Great. So it's great to hear that. I would give you a couple of minutes to give last and closing words about not only this interview, but just your excitement about being a part of working with us, and also give you a chance to give a plug for your brand.
Hey, Barbara, thank you. I just want to extend just appreciation for you, all the work that you do with the Business Improvement District in Harlem. It continues to make a difference. And since 2016, I've seen it, and to now work a little bit more closely with you to enact change. It's just been great to see. So thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the podcast and spend some time with you to share our story. The different committees that we've worked with together I'm confident is driving change that we will see in Harlem when you link to quality of life, link to crime. So just very appreciative of the work that the Harlem Bid is doing to drive change. From Victoria's Secret standpoint, it's the holidays. We love Harlem, and we just encourage everyone to come out and shop our store, see our amazing team. And I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday from that point.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Anthony. You are listening to 125th Street and Beyond. I am your host, Barbara Askins. We have had a great and amazing discussion with Anthony White, the Area Director of Asset Protections for Victoria's Secrets. Please stay tuned every Monday at 4 p.m. on 90.3 FM for 125th Street and Beyond. You can also email me at bid125thst@AOL with any questions you may have. Thank you very much, listeners.